Miranda is dating a new up and coming playwright.
Mm-hmm.
Sex is good, things are going great, but
Mm-hmm.
immediately after sex, every time he hops out of bed and has to take a shower.
Has a shower.
So she finally confronts him, and turns out it's like a Catholic guilt thing.
Yeah, very extreme one.
Yeah. And so, yeah, the next day she's walking with Carrie and tells Carrie, had I known he was Catholic, I wouldn't have even dated him. And Carrie makes this statement about how like guarding your religion while dating is akin to like guarding how many sexual partners you've had. You just don't talk about it, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, that is a very specific experience. I feel like you should talk about it. You should definitely talk about it a lot.
I was like, no, Carrie, I don't think so. I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is where she wonders, her question: are relationships the religion of the 90s? Whatever that means. So Carrie wasn't raised religious, so she's like, let me go do research. And so she's like walking around on Sunday, just like watching people leave church. And on one of her little walks, she spots Big leaving a church with some mystery woman.
Yep.
And we learn that the woman was his mother. And he tells her he goes every Sunday with his mom to church.
Yep. And this is a very viral TikTok sound right now.
Oh, what?
Yeah, there he was wearing Armani on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Is now a TikTok sound, which is pretty interesting.
Interesting.
Women like running away from men. It's pretty funny. Anyway.
Like, yeah, what's the visual? What?
Yeah.
Interesting. So, yeah, Carrie's like, well, why didn't you ever tell me? You take her to church on Sunday? And he's like, well, you write on Sunday, so... Even just that reply is
They're so
not
separate.
Even a reply.
They have separate identities, lives. It's very hard for me to suspend my belief that she's in love with this man.
Yeah. He just withholds so much. Like, it's never come up before. Yeah. Like, oh, while you're writing on Sundays, like, oh, I have my own ritual on Sunday. I take my mom to church. Yeah. Like,
right. Yeah. Well,
right.
And even that explanation what you just did is so much nicer than what he said, because his manipulative ways is that it's always her fault.
Yeah.
Even last episode, why didn't you call? Why didn't you call?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes. Why didn't you tell me? Well, you write on Sunday, so it's like, what? How did this become my fault?
That's how those avoidance are. That's how they are.
Truly,
manipulative.
Truly. Fuck. Jesus. So yeah, she says, it's one of those awkward moments where you learn something new about somebody you thought you knew everything about. Now, that night, the ladies are all discussing Big. Charlotte thinks it's sweet that he takes his mom to church. Yeah, that's nice, right? Miranda's like, fuck that, he's a weirdo.
Her Catholic guilt is manmanifesting a different way.
That's what I'm like, what did you go through as a child in church on Sunday? Because you are hating anything with religion. And then Carrie's just kind of like obviously dreaming now about meeting his mom, and now she's like, oh my god, I need to meet his mom. Now she's like obsessed with that thing now.
Yeah, she wants to conquer parts of him in order to get to know him better and get him closer to her. And that's not how that works, but that's how she thinks it does. Because he blames her for everything.
Yeah, it's all on her to figure out. He's like a puzzle that she's like, I have to figure it out. And this is the only way to win him, is to figure out this puzzle. Anyway, Samantha shows up late, and she announces that she's, dating this new guy, James, and she's in love.
Samantha.
That is what is going on, girl. What?
I don't know. She's never known to be this foolish and flimsy with her feelings.
I know. So she tells us last Wednesday she took herself out to jazz, which I loved that. Just her.
I know.
Dolo at the jazz club, like snapping her fingers. I was like, oh, so cool.
And I really loved her outfit. She was wearing her signature red, but she was in a crew neck top and a black sweater, as if she did not want any man to come up to her.
Yeah, it was more modest. It was like Samantha Modest vibe. Yeah. So she's at the jazz club, and this like suave, good-looking guy comes up to her, joins her at her table. They leave, they walk and talk, and afterwards she doesn't invite him up. They didn't even kiss. Like,
he shook his hand or some craziness.
Yeah, he like caressed her cheek, and then that was like it.
Yeah.
And so she's telling the ladies this, and she like thanks Charlotte. She like credits Charlotte for her whole like no sleeping with men too soon thing. She's like, I think it's working. I think it actually like I really like this guy. And even says, I think I could see myself marrying him. Which just this is not Samantha at all. What is
I don't know who this is supposed to be. They just like shoved her in a place so that she could have a storyline, I guess, for this last episode.
So Charlotte starts spiraling because she's like, how the fuck is Samantha envisioning marriage with somebody? What is going on?
That is There's no way. Interesting thing, I think. Have you had this? Okay, I couldn't help but wonder, right? And I'm thinking even about the YouTube clip now. But I couldn't help but wonder if you've ever had this moment with a friend that you're close to, the way that Charlotte's close to Samantha, or a friend that's farther, like Lainey with the baby shower.
Like seeing them meet somebody and being like, what the hell's going on with me?
Yeah. Because I feel like it would be a friend that would be farther away rather than a friend that's closer to you. But maybe that's just me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Sorry, Jody. I'm trying to think. I feel like there must be an example. I'm just trying to think who.
Right.
Maybe if I think about my friend that lives in Amsterdam, she's a bit older than me, 3 years older. She was older. She was with her guy for like a very long time, and then when she was getting married, I was just like, wait, what? We're doing this now? So she was one of the first, probably my first one or two. Her and Roxy kind of like tie around the same time to be swept off with somebody, and I was like less thinking like, oh my god, what's going on with me, like why am I not finding someone, and more just kind of like at the shock that we were like at that stage of life. I think. What about you? Has this like seeing somebody else like triggered like, shit, the hell, am I not meeting someone soon?
I have not had this feeling, no, that Charlotte was like, oh, if Samantha can get somebody, why can't I? Like, I haven't had that, and I was just shocked that this was written in for Charlotte and Samantha's characters versus Charlotte and Lainey.
But I think of Lainey and Samantha very similarly. They're like party, wild child, sex that you're like not, they're never talking about love or marriage. So then when she comes and says, I'm getting married, it's like, what? I dream of this day in, day out. Like, how am I not? Like, I kind of understood Charlotte. Like,
definitely. It was just interesting, the switch of the characters. And I was like,
So yeah, Charlotte's like, fuck this shit. I need to know when I'm going to get married. So she goes to this celebrity tarot reader who tells her there's no marriage in the cards for her, basically. That night, Carrie and Big have dinner.
Yep.
And she flat out asks, like, when do I get to go to church with you and your mom? Just gave herself the ill setup.
The worst. Why would you say invite yourself?
Fight yourself. And she practically like begs him. She's like, come on, please.
She does.
Please. Yeah.
She does beg him.
So embarrassing. I know. And he like, I'm just like, sometimes like, have you no shame? Like,
you know what it is too? Well, I think we think of Carrie, us and so many other women think of Carrie as such an iconic character. She's such an iconic woman of New York. She's such an iconic woman of television. Yeah. Why is she acting like this?
Why? And I feel like maybe she like, we all at some point have made a mistake, right? We all at some point have made a Carrie blunder where we like
absolutely
invited ourselves over, like did some embarrassing ass shameless shit with a guy. They just package it all in this one character, so she's so ridiculous. But I think we all can see ourselves in her because we've all been dumb like Carrie at some point.
Yes,
you know.
Yes. I feel like Issa Rae is written better, or Issa D is written better on Insecure because she has more redeeming actions.
Yeah. And she's also ridiculous as hell.
She's ridiculous. She's crazy. Yeah, she makes the worst decisions.
So infuriating. Yeah. But yeah, Carrie, it's just like one bad decision after the next.
Jeez, man.
So she begs him to invite her to church with her mom and his mom. And he just shuts it down. It's like, it's a private thing I do with me and my mom. It's just the two of us.
It's a private thing that I do with my mom. I go to a public place that everyone can go.
Right. You're not invited. Sorry. But even that, like, he can package it in a different way, but I feel like she almost sets herself up to get
she does.
To be delivered these, like, shutdowns. Sorry, Carrie. No, it's a private thing I do with my mom. And then she has to just sit there like a little schoolgirl. Like, you know what I mean?
I know. But he gives a definitive answer. That's all she's waiting on.
Yeah.
Is definition and decisiveness.
Decisiveness, yeah.